Everyone here to the SBR GT3 Season 12, Rounds 11 and 12. I'm Jerry, and I'm excited to be here with you guys. And joining me is Daxy.
Good
So,
evening.
good evening, Daxy. How are you doing
Good
today?
evening. I'm all right. How's lovely USA?
I mean, it's pretty much the same as everywhere else. Everyone's bickering, moaning, and just getting along as best they can.
Yep.
But today we get to have a little bit of fun watching people drive around historic Interlagos.
Oh
So,
yes.
what do you think of Interlagos? You like the track? Dislike the track?
Complete honesty, not driven it much, so I can't really put my, thruppence on it. To be completely honest with you, my pound's piece. I hear it's a good track. I hear it's a fun track. I have played it a little bit on ACC, but my experience on this track of all of them has probably been the least. So it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for me on this one. Yourself, have you done much?
Yeah, it seems. I feel like most everybody kind of loves Interlagos. It seems about any kind of league race you get into, any kind of, even just hell, if you do FIA or if you just do dailies, it seems like Interlagos is on the calendar just all the time. And it really is a real fun track. It's got a lot of flow to it. The straight fast section opens up a lot of the straight line cars to be decent here because like you see Corvettes like Jokerman and we see some Vipers that really maximize on the two straight sections because they are pretty long, they are pretty fast, but then you've also got these insanely complicated sections like the first chicane and basically the entire infield where, I mean, you can gain tenths in every single corner. And so if you hit 7 corners gaining over a tenth every time, it's just the ability to gain
Nice.
time on people is huge.
Mm.
The track limits here are usually pretty forgiving. Now, they don't have the track limits from GT Sport on because those aren't forgiving. Those just don't exist. But in general, the curbs get rid pretty hard here, the few that you can get away with. And the camber around the track's just really kind of set in the right places. It allows you to carry a lot of speed through these corners. A lot of the late apexes just really allow you to, kind of get to, your fourth and fifth gear through some of these fast sections.
All right. I've come to realise why I have played this track because this is the Brazilian track, isn't it?
It
Um,
is.
this is going to show my age. I remember playing this track on Formula One on PlayStation One, and this was my favourite track on that game. So it's been that long since I played this track really hard. So yeah, I've now sort of all seeping back into my grey memory.
Yeah, I mean, it is a historic track. It's been around for quite a while. I mean, it was interesting because I think someone was wanting to put a new track in Brazil, and they were going to clear out some of the rainforest or something, and everyone got pretty upset about that. And I recently heard that I think that got canceled, which means we're going to get to see more racing at Interlagos over the next few years, as there's not going to be a brand new track yet, at least, that's going to be replacing it in Brazil. So as we see all these leagues open up back to worldwide, like Formula One's a great example. We'll start seeing more and more races at Interlagos through, 2020, probably 2021, stuff like that. But it is a fantastic track. It takes a lot of speed. I was looking through the cars, and it's real interesting the difference in the cars here. We've got like the MR cars that are like the Honda NSX, which should theoretically just be able to just destroy these infield sections, get all the extra rotation through these corners. As long as you can put it together, the ability to mess up and hit curbs here is pretty big, especially. And the MR cars usually hate driving over curbs, so it'll be interesting to see if how much they can attack the curbs there. But then you've also got people like Joker Man, who's sitting in like a Corvette, which is obviously just going to try to take advantage over the passing zones. Like two of the
Yeah.
major passing zones here is this start-finish straight and the straight that's after the first chicane, and so it's clear like his car is really optimized to take advantage of passing zones.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Um, I'm right in believing that most of the corners on this track have got some like either up or downhill gradient to them as well, making them that type of challenge, like at Brands Hatch, where you can hit that corner umpteen times around the actual race, but every single time just makes it that little bit different because of that incline or decline variant.
Yeah, the camber all around the track, and then you're climbing up a hill and then down a hill. Definitely changes up some of the stuff. One of the lucky things is that during the well on the what is it, the start finish straight when you're flying down there, going into that first chicane area, it's actually like starts to go downhill as you go in there. So as you're like trail braking through it, you don't have to really get too much on the throttle to keep your speed up. The hill itself and just gravity will do a lot of the work for you. So you'll be able to see a lot of people maximize through there just with like just how good they are at braking. Like anyone who's good at braking really has a good opportunity at this track because there are so many sections where the person who brakes better through the corner, which is true for most tracks, I guess, but especially here when I think like turn 1, and then when you think like turn 4, and then just like, what is it, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like, I mean, just the entire infield.
Yeah.
So I just, it's going to be interesting. I think like the BMW we see driving around right now has a good opportunity here. Oh, I didn't even see the Audi. I was even staring at Jake driving around for ages, and I didn't even realize he was in the Audi. Well, I mean, that should just be fantastic around the infield, to be fair. Like, that's pretty much... Yeah, this whole section, that fast... I bet he was flat out through that. I mean, the R8 has a... Yeah, the R8 has a lot of speed around this track as well. It might suffer a little on the start-finish straight, especially trying to climb that hill and then everything, but... I mean, that's what Slipstream's for. But it looks like we're about to get qualifying started, so... They'll have to run 7 laps in the race on the hards. I don't know if... It looks like a couple people actually are qualifying on hards, so they must want to start on them and just get them out of the way. Interesting that it wouldn't let Liam out. He was in first, and it's his lobby, and he couldn't even get out first. That's pretty hilarious.
Game picks no favors, it seems.
That is interesting, yeah.
I'm watching Liam as we speak, who's somehow morphed another driver in the middle of him in the Corvette as well. I think
yeah, the ghosting can be a little interesting around here. We've got a couple people, looks like either they aren't coming out of the pits or they don't want to be part of what... It's interesting because Slipstream can make up such an amount of time here, but at the same time, if a car in front of you goes off, you're at risk of that just gathering you to begin with, and even not, you're at risk of them coming back poorly. There's just a lot of things that can slow your time down, so sometimes just getting out a lot later is not the worst idea ever, just because it makes it so that you don't really have to worry about much. You have your own track to run, just put a lap down without the slip, and everyone who gets messed up trying to slipstream will, obviously qualify worse than you normally.
Oh, yeah, sure. There was some very interesting tactics last week at Suzuka. If I remember correctly, our guy Lewis, I believe it was Lewis Edwards, forgive me if that was incorrect, he's trying to do really good tactic with I believe he went with Hard's second stint, and then literally just the lap before he's going to come in for the second come in before to get them off, he was flushed into gravel pit just coming on that last chicane on the Suzuka track, blew everything out of the water. It's quite interesting what you can, or what they can do tactically with these tyres and with these changes. The start-stop straight, I'm going to assume it's going to take, you've got to look to get quite a large margin of time to be able to, safely go in there, change your tyre, and come back out without, getting leapfrogged, I'm going to assume.
So, let's see here. Sorry, I was paying a lot of attention to whether they were restarting or not, so they started to restart. And then, so I just kind of like, I stopped thinking, sorry. But
that's all right.
When you're talking about the pit timers on this lap, most of the time I think a lot of mistakes that I take advantage of in people's misunderstanding of pit timers is they think it's how fast the person's going down the straight. Like, is the pit on a long straight, which can make a huge difference. Like, if you're pitting at Tokyo, that is a lot of time lost, but assuming you end up on the same strategy as everybody else, like, if you're pitting the same amount of times total, on a track like this, you really want to pay attention to the time gaps between your harder tire and your softer tire, because the gap you really make up is the fact that if you both run the same laps. If you come in a lap earlier, you get to run a lap that they ran. So if you come in on lap 7 and they're coming in on lap 8, on lap 7, you get to, even though you pitted, you still get to run that lap on softs. When they pit, they're going to run that lap on softs as well. So you get to race them without racing them, and that's how an undercut will really be massive. So everyone gets to start finish straight. Here, the biggest problem is the thing I hate the most about the pit is where it exits you. It exits you onto a straight at a bad speed.
Yeah, this is true.
I'm not gonna lie,
Uh,
reading that Piper has to start last both races due to penalties, not surprising at all. I mean, we know he likes to put his elbows out and race and stuff like that, so that'll
it's
happen.
just a little bit old Adam Piper. He does like to, make sure he commands the space around him. Yeah, that is.
I mean, I guarantee you, no one enjoy. I mean, if you want to make sure people don't enjoy passing you, I mean, I'm sure. Like, I mean, who wants to pass? I mean, yeah, it'd be like he's going to battle you for the position, and he
This
doesn't
is
mind
it.
picking up a penalty for the position. So, like, if you want the position, like, he's going to defend you hard for it, and you just know that every time you run into him. And to be fair, it's not the worst reputation to have. Like,
It's. I don't think it's a terrible reputation to have, as long as it doesn't really sort of detriment. My thing that I don't like, especially now. Well, I don't know if you've been playing now. They've done the recent update to GT Sport. They've tamed the penalty system, but now to a degree where you can basically come and jostle someone round a corner, and as long as you don't completely take them out and knock them off the circuit, you're going to get away with it. As we know, we don't put the penalties on for these races, but a similar thing can be done here. I noticed that in some of the GT4 racing last week as well, on the Austrian short circuit. There was just a lot of sort of, I'm going to just squeeze on the inside of you here, even though I am, half a car length behind you, and then just take advantage of squeezing past you each time.
yeah, I mean, I seemed jumping into random daily discussion in the penalty system on it. I don't know. It seems like most people concede. I feel like everyone around me tends to drive pretty clean. I don't know. I don't see that big of it. I have more fun doing dailies with no penalties than I did with wrong penalties. Because like, fact is, I'd rather drive a no penalty race and just hope people are clean than drive a race that might give me a penalty for something that's not my fault. That leaves the
Yeah,
worst taste in your mouth ever.
there,
So,
there
well,
definitely
so
definitely issues with it.
what's nice with qualifying this time is it's very clear, especially since they got out like it again, that Graham and wait, is Rotary Graham or Vulcan Graham? Holy crap, I always forget this.
Which one?
Vulcan is Lewis Edwards, so that makes
Vulcan Lewis
Rotary
Edwards and
Graham.
yeah,
Well, to
is
be
it
fair,
Lewis Graham? Yeah, Lewis Graham.
Graham, Liam, and
Easy
Edwards
train.
ran the 24-hour at Nürburgring, and huge congratulations to them taking the win there. 24-hour race and winning, insane. And they were doing it just for charity, out of the goodness of their hearts, driving around, what was it, 8 hours each, insane.
So when they did it, it was real time, 24 hours on
Yeah.
GT Sport.
Yeah, it was a
Wow.
lot of fun. I got to cast about 8 hours of it, so I cast two stints. Got to watch Graham take a win in one of the stints, and just, I mean, by a good margin too. Like, yeah, second place was catching him, but like his consistency was insane. But we see them actually working together here. I didn't actually look through to see how many teams are working together, so quickly see if I see anything that looks like teammates that are next to each other, and that's a no. So the only team that's really working together right now is Callum and Graham here, and it's tough. It's real tough to get enough speed out of some of these corners to make sure that you have enough speed to leapfrog your teammate to gain on him. I think maybe his plan here is better. Just stay far enough back that you never actually close the gap all the way up in the slipstream, and that way you never have to go for the move until the long straightaway, and then you can pull him around the next lap. Yeah, I think that's what they're setting up for, and that might... I mean, it'll gain both of them time if they do it right. If they can stay with each other and just leapfrog down the start-finish straight, giving each other slip the whole way, whew, that could be a good strategy here as we see everybody else really... Oh, we see, what is it, Cosmo? Nope, that's Cosmic. And John here, I am always scared of being that close to another car in qualifying. That's where you start racing, and that is not what this session is called. That's
Yep.
probably smart of Cosmic. Back out, like, this isn't the lap that's going to do it. I get another try anyways. I'm way too close to this guy. I think that's fair play. I
Give him
think
his dues.
Ryle's sitting in a good
He's
spot.
doing quite good last week.
Luke might be a little close. Jake's got a good gap, but it always worries me when you got cars in front of you, because when they spin and come back on, you just never know what's going to happen. Austin, I think that's smart. Get behind who you think will pull you around. Joker, same position. That's probably a smart place to be. Rob, I think the Hyundai could be real quick here, so... But Liam's going to set the first lap down. It's not going to hold the two behind him. The biggest issue I think they might have here working as a team is they do line it up to go around each other and pull that. I mean...
They've done it. Yeah, they've done it. They've done the... Well, I assume they're supposed to be trying to do the 1-2. That one's pulled one round and he's now leapfrogged and gone ahead of him, gone ahead of Callum now.
It's genius play, but the problem is last time they got out ahead of Liam, so they didn't have traffic they were catching up to. So it's going to be one of those 50-50 things where if they catch Liam right, he's just going to become part of the train, and they could end up with almost a three-man train going around the last. Now, that's dangerous. That's where wrecks happen. That's where people start blocking laps, so you don't really want it. But even worse is if you catch him, like, somewhere on this lap, because then all of a sudden, all this work gets your, like, what should be the hottest lap, because they gained all that extra speed down the straight, slipstreaming each other, and so they're just, should be purple. Like, if they're keeping their times up, they should still be purple on this lap. And if they can catch Liam, it's just going to turn into an insane slipstream, and Callum's going to end up with a double slip going down if they end up moving aside at all. And he could end up with a real quick time, but it looks like he may have actually lost slip distance. It's hard to see from that angle.
I think corner, just a couple of corners ago, he just...
I think he's in it, though,
had a little bit of a wiggle.
Yeah, he's definitely in it. Graham didn't quite catch Liam. We see the Audis running by each other there. Ooh, 3-second penalty for a cut somewhere.
Ouch.
And, I mean, their strategy still has them 2/10 behind Edwards at this point. I mean, I thought the NSX would be pretty quick here. We know Edwards can fly. Wait, am I saying their names right again? I swear, we're going to need you guys to put, like, some letters at the end of these things or something just to help me out here.
Yeah,
I was so good until the name chase
Edwards
came in, and it was just like, oh, well, that messed up everything. But I think I got it right. And I think they both know that if I flip them, it's all out of love. But, I mean, they're still 2/10 down working as a team, so I think that Callum was probably smart to jump out of that and realize, like, maybe that's not pulling. I mean, this is going to be interesting. They're all grouped up now. I guess a couple of people are probably on an in lap in there, and a couple of people are on an out lap there, maybe. So it could be a situation where no one's really trying to push right now because they still have time to grab a new set of tires and go one more time, I think. Maybe not, actually. It's pretty close. I think they do, though. Like, everyone who already pitted will for sure...
So I'm just watching old Mr. Hill in this Audi, wrestling it around. Don't know if he is trying to put a fast lap down. No, he seems to be letting people go by him.
Ooh. Yeah, so will he have time to... I don't think he'll have time to grab another set of tires, so he's just going to... What are his tires looking like? Is he going to be able to get a good lap in here? Oh, his tires are... Oh, he's on hards and he's in 6th. Oh, a bunch of people are on hards.
I think they want to just get them out of the way. Get them out of the way and then just, you know, crack on with whatever fuel and soft tyre strategy they can do afterwards.
Oh, Luke sets a better lap there. Into the top 10. Yep. I thought the Audi, not the Audi, the Hyundai would be a little quicker in qualifying. It just has a lot. I feel like it's really good in those little tight, fast sections. It's a really quick car, but in the race, it seemed when I raced it one time, the tire wear is really bad. The fuel, you have to kind of rev it. It doesn't fit my driving style, I guess, because it's a pretty fast car. I've seen some people get around the track pretty quick in it.
Wow, everyone isn't. Those people are on hards.
Yeah, there is a good joint of people starting on hards. We'll look at how many it is right now. So most of these at this top, sitting here as we're coming around on what should be the last lap here, as Edwards has pulled off saying his lap's good enough. Then we've got Graham, who's currently sitting in 2nd, trying to ride some of that high from the Nürburgring win. Although Callum in 3rd, right behind him, is only 2/10 back. It's currently purple, so he's definitely sitting in a good spot here to get pulled. Is he in the... It's such a hard angle to tell. It doesn't look like he's in the slipstream, but then they come through and it kind of does. So, yeah, I think he is in the slipstream.
The camera angles on this track don't really help with that type of thing.
Yeah, I had to change it. I
Seems.
tried this other one out, and it's definitely higher up than the other camera was. Because here, I'll show the other camera. It's like really low. It didn't change anything there, so that didn't help. But wait, you'll see. As Callum jumps into second, he didn't end up staying purple on the last section. Liam improves to third ahead of Graham by nothing. Then we've got Real in the Viper showing a real good lap and on a better lap, getting pulled by Luke. And then, did he get stopped at the last second? No, that wouldn't have been a 3-second stop. Rob sitting in sixth, it looks like, as we see Rob Schaller coming around. Oh, someone just went better. Where'd Cosmic jump to? Cosmic just jumped to first. I told you the Hyundai was quick.
Yeah.
Whoa, where did that come from? Cosmic flying around, leapfrogging by a tenth. I didn't even scroll high enough. That's hilarious. I was like, where did he go? And I was like, oh, I guess he didn't go up. No, that was weird. Everyone moved down. And then at the back of the softs, like I said, was Rob Schaller here in eighth. And it looks like we're starting the hards right there with Jake in ninth. That's just on... Most of the field is starting on softs, it appears. I didn't actually check what Cosmic was on, but yeah, of course he's on softs. That'd be insane. And then Austin also on hards, right behind Jake, so that was smart of him to pull out, follow him around the track. Joker, less than a tenth behind that, so the top three on the hards are really close. John, only 2/10, so the Viper doing him pretty well. Luke, 6/10 back of that, so definitely going to want to find a little bit of pace there. His times are a little bit inconsistent, so probably want to turn that into race pace. And then Piper starting at the back of the field, but he's definitely in a car that we can see qualified in second over here, so that is so cool. I didn't even realize their liveries are the white edition Red Bull and then the blue Red Bull.
Yeah,
that's
the blue
cool.
one.
That's cool.
I have to admit, the blue one is my favourite of the two, but I do think it's quite cool they have the separate livery colours.
When I first saw it, I was like, man, I thought they'd be on a team since they're driving the same car. That's weird they're not in a team. And then I was like, oh, they are. They're just 1,000 IQ. Got it.
Right.
So we are underway here. Cosmic taking the green flag. That, I mean, you know, it's probably he's like, yep, I told you it's what's to be expected. I mean, you got to play it like you've been there, but I've personally never seen him race before, so that's exciting.
I
Edward
watched him last
second.
week in Suzuka. Really impressive.
Well, unlucky here at Interlagos, you start on the outside, so potential to lose a lot of positions into turn one here as everybody jumps on his inside, already down to third, back into second, as we see everyone trying to filter through. Little bit of shoving through as, oh, they're looking three wide. Oh no, Schaller is sideways, but hey, he's got it back under control. He'll be all right. He's still in the slip of everybody.
Ooh,
it is rough to fall back
first and second already
on hards. Ooh, late braking.
Sorry about that. I was getting into it. I was just seeing Lewis Edwards managing to take first spot down around the first down straight there, but then Cosmic has just pipped him again around that other corner and is back in first position. Absolutely, he's got indicator on as well, just to, I don't know, for amusement. God knows.
Yeah, I actually turn them on sometimes, and you won't even notice it for a few laps. So that's why you never really trust an indicator as someone signaling something to you. Yeah, they are running a lot of DCs right off the start, front to tail right now.
Yep.
Cripps, what is it? Callum's sitting right there. Liam's still holding into the slip as well. Looks like Rob's probably hanging on the back, and then the first person to fall out of it is Jake, but he's on hard, so Jake on hards is already up into six, so that's definitely a good position for him to sit in. Joker on hards is sitting in seven. I think he's running fantastic here. Schaller, I mean, he's on the softs, but at least he's with his teammate, so his teammate probably knows 100% what tire he's on. That's helpful. So if he gets the good run, his teammate should just probably let him go on by if he knows he's got the pace to keep pulling away from him, because it'll just be beneficial to follow him. I mean, the Hyundais are looking strong off the bat. They're sitting 1 and 5, but they are both on softs.
Unfortunately, I just saw Mr. John Thompson. He took a bit of a spin. He's dropped himself back to 11th. But Adam Piper has managed to sneak his way up a little bit up to ninth already. But it does have a good 4-second gap before he gets to anyone else, and that's Joker ahead of him in that Corvette, which I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how they weigh up between the two, that Honda and the Corvette.
Well,
Corvette definitely got the long, long straight grunt.
yeah, I mean, I think you know, they just are powerful in different places. As we see this sixth, seventh, and eighth group all kind of hanging tight with each other. But yeah, we see Schaller did go ahead and get on by Joker. I mean, it's softs versus hards. It's such a pace difference that he should be able to work his way back through, but it's just a tough way to start on your softs. So we see Rob slip just off this slipstream, but Liam, Callum, Edwards, and Cosmic are all sitting there 1, 2, 3, 4 in one big slipstream train. So that's always fun to see. As we see Clement says, "Hi all, what's up, man?" And it almost looks like Cosmic's starting to almost break slip as they're pulling it back down, but he got it up to over half a second there at a point, so the NSX and all these cars behind are definitely have to make sure they maximize with each other. And I mean, it's so hard because you got to really hope the guy in front of you is focused enough to keep up with the car ahead of you, while at the same time you're focused enough to like just move by him as soon as you can. It really depends on how racy everybody wants to be, because if you try to make a move here, you better make it stick, it better be quick, it better be clean, or you're going to lose out time on the people ahead of you. And that just, you know, it's a 28 lap race. You're really trying to lose 7/10 of a second on a lap for no reason. And if you're in Rob's position, you're just like, Liam, go up the inside of someone. Please battle someone. Start pulling everybody back here. Someone start battling. Come back. And it looks like Schaller's done a good job. He's gotten by Jake as well, so he's up in there.
Ooh.
He is still leading the hards, though, so Jake's in a good position. Joker, man, I mean, can't say enough about that. He's only 2 seconds back, so he's still in the battle as well. Any mistakes he could pounce on.
Jake struggling there. A little bit of a twitch on the back end as hard tyres just don't get the grip down at the opponent ahead of him.
I don't know how they drive the hards.
Softs.
They just always feel like ice. But, I mean, the leaders are still holding the same order as they go into this slipstream. And no one's really tried to make a move, but this is by far the closest they've been. So it's going to be interesting to see if they go aggressive. They could even stick this 3 wide if one goes left, one goes right, which is exactly what they're looking to do. I think Callum was smart, backed out, and ended up trying to go for an undercut, but he's going to... Oh, and he does get the inside. That puts Cosmic back. Liam's going to send it 3 wide. It's only 2 wide now, but, you know, whatever. And I think this is kind of what Rob was wanting to see. He's already closed up over 4/10 just watching them battle a little bit, and they're changing positions, so he's gaining on everyone. Standing start formation into the corner. Liam's real late into it, gets a lot of contact into Cosmic. That's a rough position to be in. Cosmic's back on, so he's still in the little group. We see Callum go around Edwards there. That is an interesting place. I'm surprised the Jag can make the move there. I think Edwards knows he's got the ability through these corners too, so he's like just putting him anywhere he can. Liam closed the gap up well, but this is, like I said, yeah, this is helping everyone.
That's it. Like you say, the fight is starting to commence, and with that, everyone behind makes benefit from that. That train is starting to bunch up behind it.
Yeah, it's letting Rob...
Is that both the Hondas behind them? 1-2 Honda? Hyundai even? Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, the Hyundai is, it's 5th and 6th, but it did allow Rob Adams to close it back up, so he's right in there now in the slipstream of Cosmic. Cosmic was leading a minute ago, so we know he's got the pace to get back up there. So it's definitely pulling him in. At the same time, Groot, who had a rough start on the softs, is closing the gap down as well because, well, they're all battling right now. So the more they can battle up here at the front, the more it's really going to close them out. But
he's done it. I don't know how he's done that. I thought he was going to overshoot it, but he's pipped him round the outside on that corner. Well done, Callum, over Lewis there. I don't know how. Maybe that Jaguar's just got more legs than the Honda on the straight there, but he's just gone round the outside and just... The last person I saw do that was Schumacher, and that was a few seats ago on the F1.
Yeah, I mean, amazing pass into the chicane. It's still just all battling. I mean, whoever gets in first needs to try to separate as all this battling goes, but it seems like it's only first for a second before someone gets them back, so...
Yep.
And as long as that happens, it's going to let Cosmic close this gap up even more as he's sitting just inside slipstream range. It's going to let Rob close this gap up even more, who's sitting just inside or outside of slipstream range.
BMW McGuinn has actually pipped into second position over Lewis. Edwards there. And he's now up into second place.
Yeah, McEwen's sitting in a good position here. I think he's kind of just stayed safe, stayed patient. If you think about it, he was in 4th. Had a little bit of a rough battle there with Cosmic into the corner, so that got him into third. And now he's just made the move there up into second. He's got a decent run here on the Jag, and the Jag I don't think is going to be like something amazingly better than the BMW down the straight. So this is definitely an area they can kind of share a lot of similar strengths in. It's going to be kind of interesting. The slipstream is going to help the BMW. He's got the inside, outside, inside setup right now. So it's a pretty good place to be. I think Callum knew it. He went for the cutback because he needs the inside to the last corner, but it's just not working. Liam gets the right angle.
Can he get on the straight?
I don't think that's going to have the angle on the outside. He has to slip back in, but he does have a potential to battle into the next corner, as Liam knows it. He went defensive instantly. I mean, you can stick it up the outside, little double-ish move, but I don't think he actually gained any overlap, so I think he might be okay there. And this is, again, playing into pretty much everyone behind's just hands, because they're just slipping right up into these battles. But again, I mean, it's a position where Liam needs to get away from him, because they have to be able to, I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to glance at the minimap and realize that, oh, all the cars that are spaced out are on hards, which means there's some hard people who have no one to race right now. So they're definitely keeping good hard pace. So you got to make sure that you don't battle too hard. Otherwise, you're banking on just being able to battle these hard drivers who aren't losing too much time. Like we've got, Jake sitting in 7th, Jokerman 5 seconds back in 8th.
I'm literally watching him now. I tell you, this battle up front is doing him a benefit. Yes, he's on hards, but what I can see on the clock here, he is slowly winding them in on the hard tyre, which will give him a fabulous advantage when it comes to him just having to run softs the whole time, pushing really hard out of that penultimate corner onto the start-finish straight.
I mean, these soft tires they have, they're going to have to come in and get new tires soon. They're going to have to go like 7.7, 7.7 or something if they're trying to only run hards for 7 laps, or maybe we're going to see people run hards for more than 7 laps by quite a bit here. It's going to be interesting to see what everyone comes up with strategy-wise, because just looking at the tire wear on the cars, they are losing time battling. They're losing time on tires, and the more you battle, the more you use your tires. So this is definitely, like, yeah, as you work back through the field, the tire wear almost tells the tale of where people and how much they've been battling. As we saw Cosmic really just kind of slip down and then just hold back here. And his tires still look fantastic compared to everybody else's. So those are the kind of things that really let you battle late in the stint. And I was saying one of the Hyundai's biggest pitfalls is it burns its tires up, but he actually has the tire advantage on all the people he's racing with right now.
Not so much for his teammate Rob. If you, unfortunately, his front tires are absolutely being cooked at the moment.
Well, let's see here. So what's interesting is if you look at it, their backs are worn the exact same amount. If the backs were worn a little bit less, I would say it's a brake bias issue, but honestly, since it's that front, and especially it's that front right, I bet you Rob's just putting that front right tire off on the exit of that last corner. We just saw them all come through. He's putting it off in a couple of the corners through the infield, and he's picking up dirt. And that dirt's just over the course of 7 laps worn, you know, an extra 10% of the tire, 15% of the tire. Plus, I think we saw him slip those couple of times, and that's definitely going to add to the tire wear. As the top 4 are just, I mean, they refuse not to. As Liam gets pushed a little bit inside, ends up having to run it all the way. This is going to open it up for a 3-wide battle, and Cosmic just gets to pick the line. Liam's being super aggressive there as he's getting pushed back down the track from Callum. Callum comes back real aggressive, and they end up blocking Cosmic, who looked like he was going to get to pick whatever line he wanted. Cosmic tries to push up the inside of Liam like he did him. They're going to... Oh, that looked like there really is... This is great for Edwards. Edwards slips out, and if everyone behind battles, he might finally get to slip away, but I think... Ooh, I think Cosmic just ended up gaining a position here, and Callum ended up losing 2. Liam lost 1. And Edwards ends up the big winner in the lead of the race.
He is a man for the small amount of time I've been commentating for SBR. He is the man who will get in that first place position and just start trying to stretch that little distance away more and more and more. No one can leave him to do that, but at the same time they don't want to lose more spots behind him. So it's the racer's nightmare at this point. But he's pushing super hard.
They have to be coming in the pits here. Like, these tires are like almost 50% burned across most of them. Cosmics are still, I think he could go another lap or 2, but like, the rest of these have to be thinking like, please go in the, like, I bet they're thinking every car in front of them, please go in the pit, please go in the pit, please go in the pit. Like, I really want to get new tires, but I can't jump in before you yet. I think the undercut's pretty strong here, though, so...
First one out of the pit is Mr. Jake Hill. He's gone, he's refueled, and he's got on softs now. So watch out, pack. Hill is about. He's going to attack with this Audi.
I mean, I think that's probably smart. If you're getting off the hards before they're even getting off the softs, and we can see that they're running these softs too long. It's almost like none of them wants to be the first one to jump in because they know
It's game of chicken.
I have no idea, but I would think the undercut's strong here. So I would think the first person in would literally just convince everybody else to go in, and they maybe should have already, but I mean, they might be big braining it into something else. Their times aren't 3 seconds is a lot of time to be losing actually off your best lap, so... Which they're all losing about 2.5, 2.3, stuff like that. So, I mean, we'll find out. It's really going to come down to where these hard tires end up coming out in comparison to them. So,
fuel-wise, the Honda and the Hyundai are holding the better fuel consumption compared to the Jaguar and BMW. But like you say, tyre wear all round is just, it must feel absolutely slidey all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think Cosmic found himself in, like, a really good situation accidentally. Like, he probably would rather be leading the race, don't get me wrong, and running away from everyone. But because he was following the entire train, as he's looking to make a move into second here, as Callum's also looking to make a move on him, they're making moves on everyone.
Oh, God.
Edwards cuts
so tight.
in. Oh, as Cosmic ends up the big loser. Interesting. It's hard to make some of these moves stick on burnt tires, and really, Liam, that was the best we've seen a leader gap out. He's the first time we've seen the leader get out of the slipstream, and if they're going defensive and continuing to battle, that's going to definitely let him get a few seconds here. But, like, I'm looking at their tires, I mean, they needed to pit already. I feel like you guys got to jump in these pits.
I don't know. I don't know what they... Surely you can't do... You can't be just a two-pit strategy. So why prolong the inevitable? I don't get it, but hey, it makes for interesting watching. I'm not gonna lie.
If you're on the softs to 14, you could run the hards to 14. But I mean, the softs at 14 are just they might as well be driving on wets.
This is it. I think it's just. I think you're right in the last. You said it seems to just sort of be a standoff, a sort of chicken of who goes into the pits first. Now, Liam has got a fair old little gap there, so is he going to dive in? He definitely needs to top up on fuel, that's for sure as well. So
he's still got probably enough to get to I think he's got enough to make it to lap 14, and I can't. Oh, they are coming in. This makes no
they're all
sense.
Coming
I'm
in.
So confused.
Oh, there's definitely going to have to be a fill-up of fuel here from, I know at least Liam and Callum there are definitely going to have to put a good wodge in their tanks.
Yeah, Shaller's going to have to get... I mean, everyone's got to get fuel for sure. That was 10 laps and it used 75%, so even if they're only going to go 7 or 8 laps, they're still going to have to get up to...
Even Joker Man's coming in. And you know what's going to give benefit to? Mr. Jake Hill. Mr. Jake Hill coming up now, already on softs. Still half a tank of fuel in there, and he's going to go, thank you guys. Wave past them all, and here he is in the first place. Strategy well played. Strategy well played by Mr. Jake Hill.
It's going to depend where all these soft drivers end up coming out here. They're going to have fresher tires, but more fuel, as we see them all fill up to 78, 70, 83. He's coming out right alongside them. Is he going to get by them all? He's got more speed. This is what I was telling you. The biggest mistake and the biggest problem with the undercut and everything is the fact that the person who didn't has so much extra speed, not being coming out of the pits, but coming off that chicane, that he ends up skipping by all of them into second. So him and Cosmic are in a 1-2 situation. Vulcan's right there. Liam's still right there. And I wonder what happened to Callum. More fuel. Put in a little bit more than everybody else. So that got him out of the pits a little bit later. And as it stands right now, it's cost him spots on the board, but it does mean he can go a little bit longer. He can rev it a little bit more. It does give him some options, so...
Also makes that second pit shorter, because he won't need to fill up as much as the others will do, so...
Oh,
it could pay off.
Gets it a little wrong, a little wide, but, I mean, he ended up getting the... Oh! I mean, it doesn't have that much grip, and he's got dirty tires from the last corner, so that was... I mean, he was pretty far along. That was a pretty good catch, but it definitely is losing him a lot of time on the leaders, and it's got Edwards now all over the back of him.
Slip on, slip with
Yeah, I was
Edwards
like, how
and then
many
Liam.
of them are going to try to make a move here? Liam's going for it. He only got the one slip, but is it going to be enough to get by both of them? No, enough to get by Edwards, maybe. Just enough. Close it off. Pretty aggressive there. Shutting the door hard. But now he's got the slip on Jake here. Cosmic's got to love this looking in the background. He's got to just be like, well,
Is he going to push
awesome.
the 2-second barrier? Is he going to push the 2-second barrier? That'd be the first person in position. He is 2-second distance and in first position. Biggest distance we had so far with someone in first position so far this race. And
I mean,
growing.
he's definitely gapping it out. He's got the nice tires. His fuel is a little bit more than those behind him, it looks like. Because now Liam's actually sitting on about the same fuel, same tires. I wonder, that's probably why Liam's aggressive here. He's kind of like looking for some moves, is the fact that he knows he's got the better tires, so he needs to try to like keep pace with who's in front of him. But they are bringing it down. It's come down about a tenth through the infield as it starts to work its way back up again.
Watch it, I'm on board with Cosmic now. I'm going to be honest with you, compared to obviously the fighting they have been doing, it's a pretty clean, tidy lap. Not pushing too hard, keeping it, not pushing it too hard, keeping it fairly clean, not needing to exert too much tyre pressure, wear or fuel usage.
Liam's looking on the outside, and I didn't see what happened to Edwards, but he slipped back behind, so that's a free pass for Callum, who's only 8/10 back of this battle, so if they do this, he's going to be in the slipstream before you notice. They go side by side through the chicane. This is always fun. If you can keep it clean, it's a real good battle, and it's really just about getting the angle, and it looks like Liam actually gets the right angle. That's going to slip Jake back just a little bit and put Callum right in the slip, so now it's a battle back between the four, but again, I think Cosmic's just looking in his rearview mirror going, well, I mean, I'm up by more now. Why don't you guys do that a few more times?
Thank you very much. Come again.
I mean, he's sitting on good tires, good fuel, leading the race. His strategy seems to have worked out because people on hards are there. But the thing to not forget, though, is everyone but Jake here is going to have to switch to hards at some point. So, I mean, realistically, being 3 seconds off the leader, slipping a little bit. Those tires are a little bit worn, so he doesn't have quite as much grip as Liam. So Liam got on by, and then, Callum's now hounding all over the back, and we know how quick Callum is. So on those fresher tires, he's probably going to try to make quick work here, just knowing that their strategies are different, and realistically, Jake's technically ahead anyway, so you've got to get by here. And so I think he's got a decent gap here if he can make the run quick, but he's losing time to Liam as well. The real question is, what is right here, like, when is everyone going to come in? Because we know...
Oh, Callum's pipped him. He has pipped him around the outside there.
Yeah, the main thing is making sure you don't lose it back, which it doesn't... I don't think he's going to even really go for the move since he gave him the inside like that, didn't try to cut back under him. And I think, again, like, it's not even a race with Callum right now. Jake can easily look at the time and just realize, hey, I'm only 3 seconds back of the leader, and they still have to run hards. So this is easy.
Yeah.
Like, this is easy. You can go by me because you guys are really dead in the water right now. Like, it's on me not to mess this up. So everyone who goes by me, it's not the end of the world if I don't lose time to you. Like, I can just follow you for a second. We need to just keep pace on the leader right now. And so the less we battle, the more we keep pace on the leader, the more you guys are not going to enjoy your hard stint, and I'm going to be laughing as I go flying by you in my Audi. I mean,
Liam.
Yeah, so many ways to be aggressive in the Audi to begin with, let alone having a tire advantage.
Well, I'll give McEwen his dues. He is slowly closing that gap up to Cosmic. Just ahead of him. It's dropped from being a 1.5 seconds to just 2.5 seconds to just 2 seconds now.
And he's got a little bit more fuel, so I mean their tires are almost identical.
Yeah. The wear is literally, it's uncanny how similar it is.
And the BMW here is real strong, and I mean Liam definitely knows how to drive the BMW. I think it's like almost the only car I've ever seen him drive, so he knows how to get the most out of it. There it is. So Jake comes in. He's doing the 777 strat, it looks like. Man, it's sure, like, watching everybody else's tires cry at him. Oh, never mind. Edwards didn't slip down from a mistake, I don't think. He's on the hards. He went ahead and got him out early so he can go back onto the softs. I think that's smarter as well. I think everybody who stayed on the
Ah,
softs might end up losing to that as well. Um, I
well, that
think
will.
a lot of people are in danger. I think these people in the lead shouldn't love their position right now, considering. I mean, Rob should, if he knew. I don't know if he knows that Edwards is on hards behind him. I've been in that position before where, like, man, I'm doing some pretty good laps here. He's not even able to keep up with me really, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, he's not even on the right tire. Oh, that's not good. Um,
Yeah. Well, it's a good strat. I'm going to have to give him. I have to give, well, both Jake Hill and Lewis Edwards here a good, good thumbs up for their tyre strategies for this race. Obviously, as we know, Jake straight on the hards now, just got nothing but softs to just run on, and I think Edwards, I think he'll keep him in the. I think they'll be in a close enough time zone to probably battle it out for top positions if they both play this right. I guess it all depends on how long he's going to stay on these hards, Mr. Lewis Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest risks Jake currently has with his strategy is the fact that it is pitting early enough to drop him back consistently, and then when everyone else pits, he moves back through the field. So he is finding himself in positions where he needs to get by, I mean, not even a back marker, but someone whose tire difference is so different right now on Piper that we aren't even running the same laps anymore. I'm like, Jake's catching on him so fast that the harder he gets battled here, this could also end up costing him some time. And we know how hard or the leaders all battled already for, the entire first stint. So it's these little bitty things like this that actually can kind of start to slow down some of those early hard drivers, is actually working their way back through these markers here and how hard they get battled on.
Wide elbows Piper, not able to stop him on that straight there because with the slipstream he's just got too much pace on him, just straight round him in the Audi.
Yeah, I think no matter how big your elbows are, when you get caught on the slip like that, they're going to get a run either on the inside or the outside. There's no real choice about that. And so you're going to have to battle into that chicane. And going to the chicane on that big of a tire disadvantage just was never realistic that you had any battle there. So I think just falling in line is probably the best option. Looking at Liam, he's actually closed the gap down a little bit more here to Cosmic. It's almost down to exactly 2. If he can get it back under 2 and in that 1 range, that definitely starts to build pressure as we see him actually drop under 2 out of that last corner. I'm not 100% sure which one of them will have the higher top speed. I know the BMW's top speed is usually not going to be its strong point. Looking at just about 160, those numbers are jumping everywhere. Who knows? They're roughly the same speed, it looks like. Their tires almost the exact same, and just the fuel on the Hyundai is a little bit lower, but if I remember right, he under-fueled where, like, Callum over-fueled, and that's all relative because they're going to gain all that time back, assuming that they fuel correctly for their final stint.
I'm going to assume the Hyundai's just going to run to pretty much nearly bone dry and then dive in for last pits and tyres.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where Edwards ends up overall, because the fact that he's on his hard stint right now, assuming he only wants to run 7, 8 laps topped on softs, that means he's going to be coming in on lap 21, 22. So he realistically only has a handful more laps before he comes in, and if he's going to run 2 more stints, he could be coming in on his hards even sooner. Because I can't tell when his pit was, but there's no P on there at all, so he might be eligible to come in starting this lap.
So I'm just I'm checking some of the guys at the back, see what's going on, but they're all pretty spaced out.
Yeah,
just doing their own races at this point here.
We had a couple of the what also somewhat benefited a little bit is we had a couple of the drivers, or I mean for the battles at least in the back, is a couple of drivers ended up DCing, so it means that some of those people who you might have ended up having to pass, you got free passes on, so it definitely spaced them out just a little bit. The leaders, however, are still pretty close. Most of the gaps are relatively consistent and definitely still like within the pit, just the pit strategy difference at this point. Like the fuel amounts that were put in, how much tire wear they're doing is about the only differences we're really seeing. It's always tough to figure out exactly where Jake is until they come around. Like last time, he could have been anywhere from 5th all the way to 1st, just depending on how they come out of the pits. But I haven't actually caught him getting slowed up by anyone, so as long as he hasn't been like just spinning it out and stuff like that, I think he's probably in about the same position he was last time. Maybe a little better, maybe a little bit worse. He's still running similar times, it looks like. He is catching up on Original John, though, who is on very old tires. So if he catches him before John pits, it's another potential, opportunity to get slowed down on your hot lap or on a hot lap.
Liam McEwen doing an excellent job in second position.
So quick.
Hunting down Cosmic in first. It's down to under a second, 0.8 of a second. Well, yeah, 0.8 of a second, 800ths of a second. And the start straight coming up. This could be all up for the fight again within another 2 laps. But at the same time, the tyre wear and fuel is also looking like it's going to need doing on both of them, to be completely honest with you. So I don't know if it's going to be a battle for who's going to be quicker in the pits between those two.
Well, with 10 to go in the race, my guess is they only go 2 or 3 more laps before they come in. And, as much as I was complaining in the first stint about how long they were running their softs, now that I'm kind of thinking about what their other potential options were, it makes sense that they're having to run these softs out, because most people are running the softs out now. I do think they all overextended stint 1 a little bit. And so we'll have to see exactly what works out. But if they haven't used their hards yet, 10 laps to go, I mean, are they running only 7 laps on soft or on the hards? Are they running the bare minimum? We'll see them come in at about 3. Or do they run an extra one on the hards because they overran the softs?
Possibly so. I know for sure. Vulcan, Ethan Graham. It is Ethan Graham here. I'm speaking correctly, aren't I? No, I'm not. I do apologise. Lewis Edwards has jumped in, and he's now on softs. But like you say, with still 10 laps to go, so I'm going to presume he's just going to try and get them to last.
I think that might be his plan, is just to run it all the way out. We'll have to see exactly. We know he was battling with the lead pack when he went in the pits and switched to the hards and ran his hard stint. Now, assuming he didn't have any major offs, that would mean him and Jake have a real gap right now, and it's definitely a few positions. It's probably 15, 16 seconds or more. So if he would still be on pace with the leaders on their hard stints, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this works out. But there might be a pretty decent gap to the leader, or I might have done math terrible, which is pretty common.
I really can't work out what the strats are going to be. I don't know if there's just going to try and be maybe quick dips for tyres, or maybe a smidgen of fuel, or if they're just going to try and ride. I don't know what would be I'm trying to work out what would be the better strategy, but I just can't. I generally can't work out what would be the better option of the two.
Well, the leaders have 35 seconds on the first person that's actually batting them, which is where Jake's at, 35 seconds back of them. And they have to run 7 laps on hards, which means they either come in at the end of this lap or the end of the next lap, right?
Yeah.
And that comes down to your tires, and it would come down to the gap to the people you're battling behind you, if you could see it. But they can't see what their gap is to behind them, so unless they're just listening and they heard us say that the gap is 34 seconds to the next realistic racer who's not someone you can see, where, like, we can see the gap to Callum is 2 seconds. They can see him in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
They can't see Rob, they can't see Joker, they can't see Jake, and they can't see the gaps to them. So they know they're ahead of the other people who are on the same strategy as them, but there's people on way different strategies, and they probably saw it on their board when they first went into the pits. So they know people are on different strategies, and they don't know where they are in relation to them.
They're both in. They're both into the pits. Both Cosmic and Liam. Onto hards they go.
It'll make sure that they get their 7 laps of hards in, because they're doing 8 laps on hards. But so they'll all be good there. But yeah, it's really going to come down to where, which I'm assuming Joker's going to come in here. Oh yeah, he's got nothing left. So it's really going to come down again to where Jake ends up coming out in comparison to him. The fuel hasn't quite gone in yet, as when it does, we'll see the numbers change to bigger numbers. Hopefully you know what you need to fuel to. We should see everyone fuel to roughly within the same percent of each other. A couple of cars will burn a little bit more, a couple will burn a little bit less, but they should be coming out here any second now. If not, they might be fall back, as we do see them coming out of the pits. They all go up to around just over 60%. Callum, again, I guess maybe he either likes running high fuel, or he's a real big fan of running just really revving cars out, because he did fuel more than everyone else again. But I mean, kind of like predicted, the way it looked, Callum, Jake ends up with a pretty decent gap here over Cosmic, and he's going to continue to gain as they don't have the same
Oh
speed
wow,
down that straight. So
4 seconds. My
it is a good
days.
gap, and that's going to be problematic here as Cosmic literally has Liam right behind him. So he's got someone who could potentially be battling him. And if you're in Liam's position, I mean, that's soft serves hards now. That being said, I did forget an important fact that Jake's probably going to have to come in again since he does not have enough fuel to go to the end, and his tires wouldn't make it either. So he will end up falling back behind him again and having to fight back through him. I think he would come in on this lap just because, I mean, it depends on how long he wants to run the softs. It'll be this lap or the next one, but if the gap's going up, you stay out. If the gap's coming down, you got to just get in to get the new tires immediately and try to gap as fast as you can, I would think. But the gap did go up a little bit there as he runs quite wide on the exit, so the gap's going to auto come down. But it actually didn't. It went back up. They didn't get as good an exit. They are on the hard tires, so actually, why would the gap ever come down, really, until you're out of fuel?
Yeah, I think he is going to stick out for another maybe two
Yeah.
laps. See if he can squeeze a bit more time from these softs compared to those hards there.
Yeah, the
Only
gap's
real person
realistic
needs to
now.
worry about is that Lewis Edwards, the Honda of Lewis Edwards, who unfortunately has a pack of people to try and get through on his softs before he can even start really antagonising him.
Yeah, he does have a couple people to work through here. He should be catching, I think, like he may catch Callum a little bit earlier, but he will be catching Cosmic and Liam roughly around the time Jake should be coming out of the pits, I would think. So that might actually work out in his benefit just a little bit. It's really going to come down. Liam made the move we saw, or we actually got to see Liam make the move on the inside of Cosmic into turn one. So he got the advantage going into the infield, and usually in a BMW, you want to, I feel like I like to be in front. I have a big car. I can put my car in a lot of places. It has a lot of capabilities in the corners, so I can block really well. I can defend real easily in a BMW, but what gets tough is trying to sneak your car around other cars to pass them. All those things I just said that are awesome to defend with are tougher to pass with. So, I think getting in front of the Hyundai real quick is your best opportunity, because then you got to realize that the hard tire drivers are required, like it's an unwritten rule that if you're on the harder tire and the other person that's racing is on the softer tire, your teammate's against the softer tire. Like, you both have to work on keeping him back, because if he gets by either one of you, you're both toast to that person. So you got to work as a team to block the soft driver while still battling each other. So we do see Jake come in. He didn't have enough fuel to go another lap, so
Is that going to spit him out is the question.
yeah, the real question is him with Edwards. I think Edwards is going the rest of the way on these tires. So
I've got eyes on Edwards, and it does look like it, I think he can as well. I think he can quite comfortably eke out another, five laps?
Yeah, 6, what is it, 5 to go, 6 to go?
Yeah.
6 to go. 5 and a half.
Not really panned out too well for Mr. Jake Hill here.
He does have the fastest lap of the race, and he does have a lot of people that are in front of him. I mean, it is interesting because, yeah, Schauler and Jokerman coming out right in front of him is definitely going to be interesting, as they are also on the soft, same strat, so he's actually fallen right here into the 7th and 6th battle. So he's going to have to work through them. The hards aren't coming in, but they are going to keep falling back on everybody. So, like, that's the big thing, is what is the time difference between a soft and a hard? Well,
that's the question, isn't it?
I mean, we'll watch Liam and Cosmic here come around. It looks like they ran 33s, roughly high 32s. The softs are, as we can see, Jake can run in the 30s, and they're going to be on low fuel. So, I mean, that's 3 seconds, 2 seconds a lap.
I'm on board with Lewis Edwards at the moment, and he is slowly reeling in old Callum Cripps, who did have a 3.5 second gap, literally the lap or so ago. Now brought that down to 2.1 and now down into the 2s. So, it's definitely got the chance of getting at least into a sniff of a podium position for the end of this race. And maybe even more, depending on how much these two, Cosmic and Liam, battle out at the front there. They're spreading.
I think if you're in the top 3 right now, Liam, Cosmic, and Callum, you know, like you saw the tires of the people you're racing with, so you would have track of those, and you would know that Edwards is on softs. Just because you know he pitted earlier, you just know those things. Those aren't too hard to follow. What's hard to follow are the people you can't see. The people you're actively pitting with all race until someone drops off the strategy, like you see theirs the whole time. So it's not too hard to keep up with all that. So I think the 2, 3, yeah, 1, 2, and 3 know right now that everyone behind them is on the softs. So except obviously Rob's on the hards, but and you can usually tell by the fact that you lose 3 seconds a lap, right? Like Edwards is running 31s right now, or he ran 31 on the last lap at least, if the times are even close to correct. And Callum's pushing everything he's got to get a 32. So it's just like the time difference is very obvious. You're not on the same tire because you're not making any mistakes, and the time difference is just dropping like in half. But Liam's gapped Cosmic here a bit, and to be fair, that's about the best case scenario you can be in, because you want to battle the soft drivers that are coming up on you as best you can. And it's actually easier to battle the soft drivers if you aren't also battling a hard driver at the exact same time. So super useful to get that little gap built right now.
That's it. As Jake Hill back in 7th has managed to get sandwiched in between the 2 Corvettes, but
he goes for a cutback
with so much traffic
move.
going on, now he's dropped back into 8th again. So he's really being held up by this 2 softs of the Corvettes, which he just came out behind from the pits, not given a chance to see if he can make anything more from this race. I think that could be him just in a mid pack until the very end.
Well, I think it's a little bit of a double-edged sword he finds, where when people know who you are and they're racing against you, you have some people who definitely are going to race you harder.
He's done it. Lewis Edwards has done it. He's pulled it. He's got a podium. He's in the 3rd. He's pipped Callum Gribbs. He's done it. I know he's locking eyes on. He's locking eyes on to Cosmic, but again, that's 2 seconds. But with the softs and the difference,
I was like, if he keeps the pace, I'll have him by the 26th lap.
Oh, this is going to be interesting here.
And then he'll have Liam by the 27th or 8th lap at the current pace. At the gaps they have right now and the paces they're running, assuming that they're going to fall, they're not going to fall off at the same speed because they're on different tires. If they stay roughly the same, if Edwards doesn't drop out of the 31s and Liam and them stay in the high 32s to 33s, yeah, by the 27th and 8th lap, he should, if he gets by Cosmic quick, he should be up to Liam. And then for Callum, I mean, you're having to look at it and there's just a lot. The hope is that the people in front of you start to make mistakes or something, because someone on softs just went by you and everyone in front of you is on the same tire model as you. So the gaps are getting pretty big with 3 to go.
Yeah, he's going to be bound by the top 3's fate here. But Vulcan is definitely up for causing some mischief and seeing if he can, put the cat among the pigeons and get within maybe a 2nd or maybe a 1st shot podium spot. But if anyone can do it, if I've seen anyone who can pull this type of manoeuvre back in a race, Lewis Edwards would be it. I've seen him do some pretty spectacular comebacks in some of the races I've watched so far. Not claiming to be too much of a fanboy, but he has done some pretty good racing. So if anyone can do it, it could be Lewis Edwards here.
Well, he did get a little bit of help there in the fact that over that lap, it looked like Cosmic closed the gap on Liam by just a little bit. So where it looks like he hasn't closed as much of a gap as he had been, as it went from only 2 seconds to 1.3. Well, the same thing happened between 1st and 2nd. So I think Cosmic... Oh, no, it didn't. He actually ended up losing 3/10 right there at the end. So the gap... Oh, there's the gap going back up as they come through that as well. So... And Cosmic's actually losing out a lot of time to Edwards. Edwards is inside the slipstream now.
Look at Edwards' tyres. Those 2 right side tyres.
I mean, they're super dead, but I still think he has... I don't think he necessarily has the pace to close down 2 seconds or 1.8 seconds to Liam, but you don't need pace once you have slipstream. You just have to manage the dirty air as you follow through. If you can just manage the dirty air through this infield section... He's on a hard tire, so you don't have to really push the softs too hard at that part. And then once you're in slipstream, it's not about tire model. A hard, a soft, they all go in a straight line pretty much the same speed. So, it's about being in the slip.
and he's going to be within that 0.3 of a second
Oh,
catchment
little
zone.
contact, no damage.
Yeah, little touch there, and he's definitely going to be in the slipstream zone for just being able to make a clean take down this start and finish straight, and potentially second place for him there. But he does twitch out over that bit of.
He's still got a lap to go for it if he doesn't find a way to do it here. The gap is pretty small, though, and Cosmic thinks it's small enough to start looking defensive. And, I don't know how defensive that is. I don't know if Edwards goes for it. It's pretty far back.
No, I think he was just trying to spook him by putting him in a weird position, which he has done, even in poorly positioned for those sets of corners. And that Honda can then take advantage down the straight, possibly.
I mean, if he can... Oh, the problem is he's having to lean on the tire that's burned around that section, and he did keep the gap in, and he looks like he's even turning his... I saw some sort of... I mean, so he stays defensive through the corners, he's pushing him out. It's just the final lap, so, I mean, there's no reason to do anything but drive insanely defensive and just stay on the inside part of every single corner, and... I mean, yeah, you should never even push the full track limits right now. You got to stay defensive on everything. If you want to pass me, it's around the outside and the outside only right now. Never leave your inside open. I mean, and if he doesn't leave his inside open, it's just going to come down to a drag race. And I think Edwards might need to start thinking about getting the distance right for the drag race, because it's not looking good, and Callum's getting closed up too. And I don't know about going around the outside. The cutback's interesting as they are. Now Callum is literally there, and you could end up losing out positions to Callum.
And it comes down to the start-stop straight. This is going to be it. This is going to be the moment.
You can't miss this. You got to just line it up so that you get the slip. As he gets a nice little slip angle, it looks like, but he went a little far. That's going to work. Oh, Callum's got a really good run on him too. You're not going to get passed by the hard driver. I don't think it's possible. Oh, but Callum's literally right there. The problem is he didn't lose the slip on the car ahead. Callum's trying to find anything on the inside. He might have enough.
Oh my days, has he got it? He's got it! Oh, he's done it! Callum Creed's in the third position, just across the line. What a manoeuvre! Oh my days, sorry. That was a brilliant bit of dragging. Oh, Lewis Edwards going to be kicking himself there. That little wiggle just out of that last turn, kicking him just because he won't then have the slip for second, giving away then, giving Callum the position to slip from fourth to third. Oh, but sorry.
Schaller in eighth, John in ninth, photo finish. No, it was an amazing finish. I'm just making sure I check and catch everyone coming across if there's any changes. It looked like Jake just barely got past Joker before the final straight there, and then John and Schaller finished like photo finish. Austin in 10th, and Piper coming around in 11th.
I reckon this could be a tactical manoeuvre, well, Piper.
Oh, yeah. Reverse grid start at the front, right?
Indeed. And then we're going to see Mr. Elbows, see how he defends off half the pack. Congratulations, Liam McEwen.
Liam with the win. He has been racing. I mean, I wonder if he's feeling like pretty hot right now, because I haven't seen a ton of his racing recently. But at least over the last week, he has been doing a lot of winning. So
he's Charlie Sheen in his golden age.
Yeah, he is definitely getting it. I mean, that has got to be a good feeling, taking a couple of wins, staying consistent. But problem is now you don't have very many laps to start and last in. So, you know, there's the double-edged sword of the fact that now he has to start at the back of the pack.
This is true. Good evening, everybody in the chat. Sorry if we've not been too preoccupied with what we've seen in there. It's just been so eventful, that last part of the race. We've just not noticed anything coming. So good evening, everybody. Hi, Track Addict.
Yeah, I've seen Track Addict. He races on the. I've seen him racing in, I think, maybe this in the BTCC, maybe.
Oh, is he on the BTCC side? Is he?
I think if it's Jay the Track Addict, now it might just be like a thing and they all just have the Track Addict and it could be someone different. But if it's who I think it is, yeah, he races in some of the stuff. So that's good to see him checking it out, having fun, watching the feature race, followed up by the sprint race. We should see everybody go on the soft, so let's see if anybody accidentally starts on hards, and we can all point and make sure that they switch those back to softs, because you don't want to be starting on the hards this race. Oh, we got some mediums from Piper, so that's an interesting thought process.
Will there be need for a tyre change on this? Because it's a sprint, isn't it? So, or...
Well, it is. 10 laps, and the softs were burning up. So it's the way that I remember these sprints going is the choice is always like you can pit and get the better tires, but man, sometimes the people that stay out, you just don't have enough time to close that gap back up.
I personally myself, I would think maybe mediums and see if you can just make it run.
I mean, Jake and Piper both have medium selected now. Don't know if that's a mistake or a thought process. The mediums will last, but I mean, the fact is that, I mean, you're not going to be winning the start of the race. They're definitely going to be fast. Yeah, some people will be messing up, but the top 3 or 4 should be quite a bit quicker than you. I think I just saw Original John go on to Hearts. I don't think that's a good idea, John. I think we definitely want to be on softs. I even think the mediums is a questionable idea. I wish Piper's running mediums to start first and then just be a rolling roadblock. If he's doing that, Jake's medium strat is ingenious because there's going to be a rolling roadblock in front of everybody. And so they'll be running, if they're all getting slowed down to a medium's pace. The problem is I really feel like that just doesn't work. The first straight, you're not defending a field of 14 chasing you down the first straight because you're on a soft or harder tire than them.
So is this very fair point? So I'm being completely distracted by both Callan Cripps and Lewis Edwards deciding to drive the Interlagos track backwards. It's just, and I don't know. No one else is on there. They can take advantage of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the race hadn't started. Just get out there and do whatever. Can't really, before the race starts doesn't count. Nothing's going on there. Yeah. Oh. In a battle right now they are. Ooh. Oh. It looks like Edwards is getting a huge advantage going up through the chicane. Oh, but he loses it. Oh, Callum with the cut back through. What if you shut a door like that? Just go through the car.
I have to admit, this track in reverse does look actually like a really fun track in reverse as well, because you're coming flying down this hill, you have to then brake and turn down into this corner here. With the camber going against you, it's just going to want to push you out into that grass.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it could probably run backwards. I feel like the uphill chicane at the end of the track backwards then, because it's usually turn 1, would be an interesting corner, and
yeah,
I don't that seems like that might be a little too steep to be flying up as fast as you can. But you never know. Don't know if they run it backwards. I doubt it. Most historic tracks only run the one direction. Edwards has gotten back ahead, but Callum's able to take a huge advantage through there. Edwards clearly didn't. Oh, no, it was. Who knows? Callum gets a huge gap as a shadow. I mean, they said starting soon a second ago, but soonish.
Okay.
Soonish. I'm sure it'll. Oh, as they see, like up the hill here, it'd be. I don't know. I think it would work. I think it'd be just fine. It'd be interesting. And Callum wins the race for that lap. Oh, there's the final. So we're going to get the sprint laps started. Sprint laps. Sprint race started here. It'll be a reverse grid, so for everyone who watched the feature race, if you can recall the order they finished in, flip that and reverse it, and we're good to go.
I was going to try and bust out that. Oh. I can't remember what track it was now from our youth. Reverse it. I can't remember who it was now.
Oh, it's Missy Elliott. It's 100%
That's the one.
Who I stole it from.
God, it's been that long since I've ever gone out. I can't remember who it is.
I'm pretty sure. Who knows? Sometimes I get those artists backwards, but I'm pretty 99.9% sure it was Missy Elliott.
Okay. Am I going to assume then that Mr. Piper has to serve a 2-race penalty then, as he's now
Oh,
still at the back.
that is right. I forgot. Liam even said that before the race started that Piper has to serve a penalty for his for his pins in the previous races. And it is a rolling start, so that means we are going to see everybody kind of just filter in here as Austin does complete and go on the mediums. We see John also switch over to the mediums. So we should see Schaller here in his gorgeous Corvette flying past these cars once he gets them caught up. Clearly, the rolling start kind of puts a decent little gap between all the cars, but I would expect to see these, I mean, it's just a beautiful set of Corvettes flying past these medium drivers pretty soon, as well as, we've got Jake only a second back of Joker right now and getting followed by an entire train, as we do have him on mediums with Rob. So we'll see how that ends up working up over the long term. Then you've got Edwards on the softs behind them, Callum on softs, Cosmic on softs, Liam on softs. Not 100. So obviously Graham has been worked back a little bit, but he's also on softs. And Real, who's rejoined the race after the DC, at the back, but not as far back as Piper, who on the mediums is at the very back of the field.
Yeah, he's going to be playing a bit. Maybe softs would have been better for him. Saying that, just to see if he can just grab a bit of speed back and time back in this sprint to go from there. But Alex Austin to be holding on position at least fairly well.
Yeah,
at least the first lap.
Is doing a good job in the first lap, and he is getting a little bit of help now that they're all battling behind him, so that's definitely going to be beneficial, but he probably has some idea that these two Corvettes aren't catching him so fast because they're on the same tire. I would assume he's starting to realize that these Corvettes probably are on softs, as they're just, that's clearly softs, just diving through them, as they just have so much more traction, so much more speed through those corners.
They've absolutely dominated that Dodge straight out of the way of poor original John. Just absolutely just see you later, buddy. You know, you did well, but out the way. And now they're just locking sights on that BMW.
Schaller now he's going to be stuck around the outside, but it is a weird traction zone where you might be able to make it stick, but not quite. And this is letting John get back in there on those mediums, trying to look up the outside, but that's going to be an optimistic movie. Maybe, nope, doesn't quite get the run. And this is allowing Jake to close the gap up, and Rob and, Callum and Edwards, all of them are closing the gap up behind as well. So this is starting to group everybody back up a little bit, which is definitely working out up here in Austin's favor, because he's definitely kind of checked out just a bit. Joker Man by, though. Now he's through, and Groot's through. They might be able to start closing this gap down. Oh, they're definitely going to start closing the gap down for sure. They're on the softer tire. As everybody goes purple on lap 2. Liam up the inside. A lot of people up the inside. I don't understand that camera angle. Ooh, lot of battling back to the field, as it looks like Liam up into 8th with the decent movies. Back past most of the people he started behind, it seems like. So, still on a good race, but quite a ways to go. I guess not back past Callum, though. Callum's right up there battling with Edwards.
Yeah, I was just watching them. Too wide going around that corner. Not afraid for a bit of argy-bargy. It's brilliant watching these guys. Callum holding it though. He's he can really defend a line when he needs to.
Oh, I mean, it's working out. The gap behind him is getting closed up, so like one battle's going to turn into a bunch of battles real quick. It's working out as well. Jake getting away on the mediums, so he's closing up the mediums ahead of him on original John. And then Austin's now been caught up to by Joker Man. And then at the same time, Rob Schaller's only, a few tenths back of that, so he's going to pull up in there as well. And I wonder if they're just going to both, once one of them makes the move, the other one just tries to go with them. But, I mean, Rob's going to need to definitely close that gap up a little bit more if he wants to make a move with Joker here, as he goes to the inside, and he's already looking to make the move.
Liam potentially got the inside line, was looking and having a little pokey, see if he can get round that Jaguar of Callum Cripps. I don't think he can. He's not got the legs on it, but that Dodge is giving him hell of a
Oh,
hard time behind as well. Was there some bumps there going around that first corner? There could have been.
I look like someone hit a wall almost on my
I
screen.
think that could have been the inside of
Mm-hmm.
that could have been the dodge on the inside there.
That's what
Just
I thought I saw, yeah.
yeah.
But then I was kind of like, wait, is the wall even that close? Is that even possible? Is Edwards? Oh,
Oh,
big
oh,
contact from Callum.
oh.
Callum gets dirt. Oh, on the tires as he goes into the entry. He drives through
That's it
Liam, who
gone.
gets sent way off. Liam does not even lift as he just fully comes back on the track right in front of Rob, who comes through. I mean, when you're in doubt, you got to stay flat out. So,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I just saw there was a. I don't know if someone touched him and then he wobbled and then touched the back of Lewis Edwards, but
it looked like Callum tried to get the run on the inside of Edwards. Edwards started to go for the block and then decided against it. But somehow, right as that happened, or maybe what happened is he went for the block and there ended up being contact. I have no idea. But somehow Edwards shot way to the right, and Callum ended up getting his back right tire, maybe his front left tire, or back left and front left tires on the dirt in the braking zone. So he had no braking power anymore. Sent him across the corner, and then he hit Liam, and Liam was like, well, this is a bad situation, so let's just see how quickly we can recover. And he never even lifted. He just went straight on. And, I mean, he lost a lot of positions, all the way back to 11th, but, I mean, he still kept up, and he's still not too far back, so he's on the soft tire. He's got a little bit worse tire wear, but that makes sense.
John Thompson managing to pip up into third position and then doing a little bit of Tokyo drifting around that first corner, trying to hold off Jake Hill. Oh no, well, trying to hold off Alex, who's just behind him, but Jake Hill there as well in that Audi.
Austin slipped out of first. He's all the way down in fourth, so that was obviously a big mistake as he battles back. Jake just trying to figure out who to follow, it looks like, and it looks like Edwards right there too, just trying to pick the opposite person. Sometimes when you see someone follow one person, you just follow the other person and kind of go, please hope you win.
Yeah.
Oh, they are four wide?
3 wide into this corner. Oh, and I don't know if I have to admit now, I don't know if that was a bit too much pushing and shoving there by John Thompson there, because you know it was 3 wide in. It was just going all over the place, and that's really shoved. That's shoved poor Alex Austin far back from where he was. He's dropped to 7th position now, with everything just being jostled in this sort of mid-pack frenzy.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely working out. Schaller's gotten by Jokerman in the front. Sorry we missed that pass, but now he's leading the way, pulling Joker around.
Jake Hill's got up into third.
I mean, the mediums, and he's got a gaggle of cars following him. Oh my, that's the entire field. I don't even know what's going on with some of these cars right now on my screen. How many are going into this corner? Little bit of contact there. It looked like
2 by 2 hurrah, hurrah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they might as well just be doing a formation lap right now.
Good God.
Oh, John slipping reels on the outside slipping, and it looks like Edwards taking the inside on both of them.
Yeah, I think he was too busy defending off his own teammate. Edwards possibly taking advantage of this, but both Edwards and Hill got this inside line down to this right-hand corner.
Oh, lot of contact there. Lot of contact. This is just everyone pushing and shoving through there. I mean, I don't even know where you're supposed to go. The track doesn't have room for this many cars this close. No.
This is literally turning into touring car racing, but they're all keeping in. They're all keeping at it.
A little wide. He's actually, how is Liam caught back? Oh, because they're all driving 4 wide everywhere. No wonder he's caught back up. I mean,
racing routes. He's still in there, isn't he? Josh Morgan. Sorry. Apologies. I was mumbling to myself. I was just saying that Josh Morgan managed to do quite well from all that going on there. You know, he's stuck himself between Jake Hill and Lewis Edwards there.
It's not a bad place to find yourself, and in the straight line, he should have a lot of advantages here in that Viper. As he forcibly gets his car on that inside line.
Little tap there, and another little tap there. There might be words about this after the race. Because, you know, he's got plenty of space to be able to take his own line. He doesn't need to do any form of pushing and shoving, really.
I'd argue there wasn't a whole bunch of space given as well, so... I mean, they're definitely battling shoulder out right now. It's definitely working with Edwards. Edwards is trying to look aggressive in here as well, and it's Jokerman who's gotten back past Groot. Since they're teammates, I wonder if they're just leapfrogging each other. Because every time I checked, a different one's in the lead, but the other one's just sitting right behind him. So I wonder if they're racing or just waiting.
Unfortunately, the Honda of Adam Piper I've just seen spin out on the last corner before the start, finished straight there. So he's, I think, fortunately for him, firmly in 13th position for the rest of this race.
Well, the battle for 6th right now rages on with 8 cars still, so...
Oh my god, it's...
Callum has found his way into the front of the pack currently. Austin keeping the battle going. Someone was way off the track. I think it may have been John. Dirty tires break early.
Jaguar 6-7 at the moment, managing to push through.
Yeah, and the battle for 5th, 4th, and 3rd still continues on, as we do see a couple of a medium driver in Jake, followed by a soft driver in Real, and another soft driver in Edwards. So it is interesting that the tires are seeming to start to overlap, where the lap times are roughly the same. As we see the Viper trying to stay up the outside, the inside didn't fully work last time. They come into each other again, just giving little taps.
I do wonder if he'd just left it off and just tried to outgun him, he may have had him, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think either one of them is giving any space. I think each one of them is wanting to have access to the whole track, and they're making sure that they know that they get access to it. But
Lewis Edwards taking advantage of this.
Oh, he's just scissoring through him.
He's up in the third. Oh, Lewis Edwards just snaking down through that fight between Jake Hill and Morgan. Oh, brilliant! Sorry, that was really well done.
Ooh, Morgan's looking back up the outside, but he doesn't quite. It's tough to make a move here, especially against an MR car when you're in a Viper. But again, you're gonna have the straight line speed, so it's all about focusing on that last exit and just realistically just maintaining through these whole sections, because you've got another car behind you that is going to be very quick through these sections as well, but you again should be quicker than it in a straight line too, so you're going to be pulling one car and you could easily probably pass the other one with a good exit. And then the battle for 6th is lined up all the way to 11th or so, but Liam has worked his way all the way back through into 6th, so I mean that's already 5 positions over 3 laps since he had that incident with Callum. And Callum's actually, well, it wasn't Callum, well yeah, it was, because Callum got his tires dirty, that's right. So he's gotten actually back past Callum, and he's continued to try to close down the gap here on Jake, who is just outside of slipstream of Real. The softs are still maintaining enough pace, maybe,
for one more lap.
And all you need to do is stay out of slip, and as they go side by side, Joker Man and Schaller are 100% working together. They are still within slip distance of each other, and now Joker Man's in first, so they are clearly just working as a team here for the 1-2. And I mean, if you find yourself in a situation where you and your teammate are 1-2 and 4 seconds up, 3.5 seconds up on the field, yeah, you might as well just run 1-2 until... Well, that's an interesting line, Joker. Maybe that's what you guys are doing. Whoa, he got air for a second. Whoa, someone's way out there. Oh, Jake's gone off. I wonder if that was from contact or if that was just a missed brake spot. Tough break there. That is a rough place to have that happen.
Seems to be having a bit of a wrestle with whatever's going on in the system. Liam... going to be all over him, yeah. I don't know if it's his control or his...
was that... Wait, what's going on? Jake's still on the track on my thing. What in the world was that? Maybe I saw lag. Maybe I just saw lag.
Possibly.
Because, like, everybody's fine. It's alright. They'll watch back the stream and everyone will see that there was an Audi that was wrecked off in the distance that somehow unwrecked itself. Where is this Audi that got wrecked? I am now... We'll come back to this final lap in 1 second, as everyone is still completely... There's no other Audi. It had to be Jake. What is going on? But he's in 5th, so it clearly wasn't. Joker Man with the lead, 7/10 of a second over Schaller. 3 seconds over Edwards. That is fantastic team driving right there. That is just fun to watch. But the rest are in an insane battle. Liam into 5th.
Surely he's got to give that face back. He can't just... I don't know if he can do that. I don't know if you just saw that. But I definitely
saw a lot of bumping back in the distance.
I just saw Mr. McEwen going around that corner.
Jake ends up getting contact. He ends up going way wide, losing that position. So I think that's I can do that too. See?
Yeah, well, I think a little bit of karma there coming back to Mr. McGowan as he did sort of maybe cut a corner and leapfrog him that way, but there, there we go. It's dropped him back a couple of, well, not more, a couple of spaces, like 3 spaces there. So karma will come back and bite you, it seems.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got Real all over the back of Edwards. What a race from him, keeping the pace right against him. And then, oh, it looks like Schaller's dropped a little bit here on Jokerman. Jokerman's kind of stretched his legs out a bit to try to make sure that he doesn't get taken over. He definitely wants the win. Coming around the final corner. There will be a race for third, though, because Morgan's there.
Get it. That's the thing. He's definitely on him. He's definitely got the slip for it.
Joker comes across for the win, followed by his teammate Schaller.
Side by side.
1-2.
Side by side coming down the straight. Who's going to take it? He's taking it. Morgan's taking it. Third position. Oh, he has.
Oh, and the final. Who knows that this Cal? Oh, there are so many of them just fishing in right there. So, Graham in 5th, Liam in 7th, Austin in 8th, Cosmic in 9th, Hill in 10th, John in 11th, Rob ending up in 13th, and Piper rounding out the field in whatever the next position was. I already forgot how many numbers I'd counted to. 13th. But congratulations, Joker, taking the win. Fastest lap, clean race, 3 positions gained. It's just a fantastic way.
It's going to do well for the team standings as well. That's going to give them a good boost in the points there, as it's all pretty close in the driver standings as well.
From my understanding, this is the final, so whatever they were able to put down today will finalize, and that should be the final standings of the entire thing. So race, as we saw there with the Jokerman, the Chevrolet won too, and was pretty fantastic. But
that last race was just so intense. Oh dear! Oh, that's been brilliant. Oh well, again, sorry for not mentioning earlier, but thanks to our sponsors for this race, Master Graphics, who do that for us. It's been another brilliant GT3. Is this definitely the final GT3 race?
That's what Liam said to me earlier when I found out I was available for this race. But so I think that should finalize it, guys. But either way, thank you guys for coming to the SBR GT3 Season 12, Rounds 11 and 12. If you like it, drop a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, as this stuff gets posted pretty consistently on the channel. Thank you guys for joining us. I've been Jerry, and joining me here is Daxi. Thanks, Daxi.
No problem. Speak to you guys tomorrow night where I'll be joining them for the GT4 Italian shootout. Italian Ferraris, was it 495 versus the Lamborghini Huracan? So that should be a lots of fun. 2 20-minute races. That'll be again 8 o'clock on the YouTube channel. So tune in for that if you're there.
For sure, man. See you.